What's good, superstars? Back with another VV video. You got Superstar Joe. You got Superstar Rob. How's it going, Rob?
Pretty good, you?
Oh, man, I almost forgot the intro. It's been like 3 days since we made a video. Man, enjoying the time off. But guys, if you're new here, do not forget, become a superstar. Smash the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell notification so you know whatever we post now. We are not posting every single day, but when we do post, you're going to want to know, so have that bell notification on. VIP members, we are not going anywhere. We're continuing our VIP superstar program. The SUP every single month. We're still doing that. Still got things to give away for the last month, but like we're getting used to this new schedule, so it's going to happen. But we have everything recorded. We've reached out to a bunch of you. If you guys owe us your MetaMask wallet, please DM us. Find a way to get it to us. Go check out the giveaway video, which is our 1,000th stream, to see if you won something. Follow us on X, follow us on Instagram, join the Discord. Discord is another way that you can get entries into the giveaways every single month, but also there's chats for every single Web3 project. All of these digital collecting platforms, we have chats in there, and people are intermingling. It is the best utility in the space right now. Superstar Money, Discord. Make sure you guys go check it out.
Guys, it's also where we have all of our affiliate links, so make sure you guys go in there. You let us know exactly if you used any of them so we can give you stars. We're going to have some new ways, by the way, coming up, which we're going to announce to get them, but it won't be in this video. And yeah, Joe, I remember I went away for like 9 days. It came back. Next thing I know, Veve brings in a new co-CEO, and there's been a couple updates. I mean, they went from being completely dark for like months on end, and then I was just gone for those 9 days, and all of a sudden I've got a couple things to break down. So, I mean, I like it. I like this additional communication. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, so I mean, the communication Rob is talking about is this one here. Came out yesterday. It was a community update. So we haven't seen a community update, I think, all year. The community has been screaming to hear from the team, to hear from the leadership of the team. And now that we have a new leader, or part leader, co-CEO, we're starting to get some kind of a communication almost immediately after the announcement of him joining the team. So that is bullish news. Very good to see the communication. I mean, but the things with this that makes us hesitant is that we have seen this before. We've seen it on the early days when Mitch joined the team. Mitch was going to be the savior of Veve. He was going to bring all the products together, make sure everything was running smoothly. There was going to be no more FUD. Everything was going to be crushed. Everybody was going to be happy because Mitch came, and Mitch has done a great job in the background. I remember initially, though, Mitch was doing those articles every 10 days, I think it was, Rob, where they said, this is what we've worked on in the last 10 days. And then after a certain amount of time, it just said minor fixes and bugs, minor fixes and bugs, minor fixes and bugs for like the next 25 updates, and then it was just like something less and less. It's like almost like, okay, nice shiny car you get, it's got the new car smell. Over time that smell goes away. Then we got My Collectibles, a leader in the community for community content, a leader. All right, amazing human, great person, and great for the role that he got hired in as community manager. We expected when My Collectibles was hired for community manager that we would get a lot more from the leadership group. He would be able to get in there, he'd ask our questions, we would get answers. He came out, he tried, he gave a question, said, what do you guys want to hear from the Veve team? We never heard a follow-up on that. And then we eventually heard that we wouldn't get a follow-up on that directly. It might be indirectly, you might hear it over time for different things. So that is something that My Collectibles has tried. We can tell that he's been trying to get as much communication from the leadership team as he could, but it doesn't appear that we were getting that until now, when they hired this co-CEO, Ben Rose from Binance, New Zealand, Australia. He's in there, and he talked for the first time as a leadership role in this way, directly to the community from their official sources. Rob, you want to talk about anything here before we move on?
I'll just add to that. The silence was intentional. I think that Veve caught themselves in some trouble, many times with promises of dates and promises of different functionalities that they were not able to honor or deliver on. They had the OUP program, which was supposed to function a certain way. That's been scrapped. Now it's a whole MCP-based kind of program. They, of course, I mean, with VeVeVerse, we're going to talk about it. And that's another one. We were standing there at Decon, and it's almost been exactly 2 years. And I'm willing to bet it will hit the 2-year mark in which it will not be released to the rest of us. I know there's some like about 100 people, whatever it is, in their beta test right now. But we don't have access. So there were things that were said, and there's a long laundry list of it that were never really came to fruition. So I think that some of the silence was, in their mind, a lesson learned, and that if you don't say anything, then you can't catch yourself in an error of saying something that you cannot deliver on, or something that you cannot do on a certain timeline. And by the way, I'm all for not giving timelines. I think it's actually intelligent to not give timelines, but I do think it is it is very important that you keep the community updated on roadmaps. I mean, we've been pushing this for a long time on this channel, roadmap, because the only roadmap that I've really seen, and I personally used a lot when I first started and found on this journey with Veve, was the white paper, which is basically completely obsolete at this point. So that's just my 2 cents on that, Joe, is that silence that about not hearing from the team. I mean, my collectibles, it's almost like there's a muzzle on it to kind of hold people back in case they misstep. But I agree. Ever since Ben's come on board, and maybe he will have the authority to change that culture so that we can have a little bit more open and transparent discussion. And we're going to also get into that in a second. Yeah. So why don't we talk about the very, very first thing here, Joe? I mean, there's a lot in this video that came.
Well, the cool thing is, before you get into it, the cool thing is that we're hearing some words that we've been screaming from the rooftops on this channel about. If you go back to this screen for 1 second, just quickly, you'll see at the bottom here, you got the new role we're talking about. You're talking about VeVeVerse, but you're talking about utility. All right. Utility was never like a discussion of a topic in Veve. So, I mean, everybody screaming for it. It's starting to get to them. They're starting to think about it, that so much so that they're talking about it in official communications. Amazing. The other thing that we're going to see a little bit about, and we're going to talk about it, is and you mentioned a little bit, is they have mentioned roadmaps in this community update. So like, they're listening, they're out there, they're watching, they're listening. The execution of how you explain and what exactly people want versus what you're actually giving them, we're going to talk about that in this video. So why don't you get into the first topic about the VeVeVerse? All
right, first topic, VeVeVerse. Let's listen in.
Yeah. And so what are your thoughts about where the VeVeVerse is at to this point? We haven't heard a lot about it. I know the community's been asking for quite a long time. Just your initial thoughts about where we are at right now. And if you could shed some light on maybe the development of that going forward, or maybe what the plan might be for talking about the VeVeVerse as we move along.
Yeah, look, I absolutely can. So first of all, I want to say to the fan, it has been slower than it should have been. And we feel the frustration and we hear it, and we are addressing it. So that's the first point to make. So look, when I was talking to David and Dan about this role, about the organization, that was the first topic I wanted to discuss with them. I wanted to see it. I wanted to understand it. I wanted to know what was happening, because it's a very real, commitment that we've made. It's also one of the most exciting things that we are going to do. So let's get on to that next. But look, so I can tell you absolutely where we're at right now. So I said to you before that a large part of my role as CEO, as co-CEO, is helping the teams prioritize and focus on what are the things that we are going to do and deliver. VeVeVerse is absolutely at the top of that list. So you will have seen and you will see us releasing functionality across the broader platform, new IPs. We've announced some things recently. We're going to announce some more at New York Comic Con, and we're going to announce some more after that. So dropping functionality is an important thing that we will be doing. When I say dropping, I mean releasing. With the VeVeVerse, I can confirm that we're in testing. My avatar is set up. It's ready. I've been in there this morning. We are working on tweaks to it. So I won't give you a timeline because, frankly, that's a mistake that we have made in the past. But I will tell you, we will be delivering it in the short-term future. And that's kind of all I can say. And look, I want to also share a bit of an insight inside the business for the fam around the VeVeVerse. So first of all, I want to be really clear that our founders and our team are focused on delivering what the fam want. There is no other reason people get up every single day to come into work at Veve than to deliver functionality and IP and experiences that our users want. With the VeVeVerse, we probably shouldn't have committed the timeline we did because, there are learning processes for all businesses, and we learned some stuff going through that. We're a wiser, smarter business now. What we will do in future when we're talking about functionality is we'll share and be transparent with the community about functionality. But what we won't do is we won't underpromise. We won't overpromise and underdeliver. So yeah, we will be delivering the VeVeVerse. We will be launching it. It has to be right. We're working on it. We have our teams working on it right now, and it's a priority. And we hear the frustration. And from me to you, hands up, we should have delivered it more quickly.
All right, I'm gonna call it there. There's a lot to break down there, so I'll just start off with my thoughts. First of all, Joe, he started off that whole conversation with saying slower than it should have been. So I do respect that he's at least recognizing what many people suspected, which is that something went very wrong, because there was timelines that were promised with the VeVeVerse. We're supposed to have a full gamification environment, and then that year went by, and then we were seeing kind of sneak peeks of the VeVeVerse, and it didn't quite look like what we saw at DCon, right? So we knew things were going on. The only thing I would say, though, is that there's really, for me, after listening to that, and I'm happy that we have an answer, like from going from nothing to at least some answer, but I still don't know exactly what happened. Why did they come to DCon and promise the times that they did? What exactly went wrong? But more importantly, because that's just the past, I think that could be answered quickly. Not that it even really matters as much anymore. I think what does matter, though, is like what has changed from what was originally showcased and promised. We had that roadmap talking about gamification. What kind of gamification can we expect? What kind of things can the VeVeVerse now do 2 years later that they thought maybe they could have done, but now they realize they can't? Has there been a change in the functionality, what they thought in 2022 versus 2024? Will there still be land? Remember that, Joe? About land. People were going crazy selling all their VV collectibles, buying OMI to get into the OUP program, to get golden tickets, to get land. There was a lot of things. There was supposed to be a whole economy in the VeVeVerse. There was things that people acted on as a result of some of the things that were discussed. However, there has not been a clear description of what, if anything, has changed from the last understanding. So I think it's really important that Ben clarify exactly what this VeVeVerse is going to be. And if he needs some help, we can help remind him of some of the things that were said, because there was an expectation from the past because of the guidance given. People made decisions. They purchased items like crazy because of it. They bought OMI because of it. And now 2 years later, will that still be the case? Go ahead, Joe.
It's the first time we've heard the team confirm that VeVeVerse still exists in the last year. So, I think that's a positive. That's what we're hearing in this comment. And the rest is, trust me, bro, it's coming. That's what it is. That's legitimately what it is. I hate showing this slide. I don't take away the timelines. We're not even going to look at that. We understand that the timelines are not this anymore. Everybody and their mother and their grandmother knows these timelines never existed and probably are nowhere close to this difference. They're saying 3 months for each of these stages. I'm sure that it's not that case for each stage. The first stage we're hoping is coming soon based off of the commentary from Ben in this video. But it's like you said, what is the VeVeVerse now? Like you talk about the VeVeVerse, you say, don't worry, we understand it's our priority. This is what's coming. People spent money on things on your app based off of this roadmap and other communications around the VeVeVerse. People bought OMI because of the VeVeVerse announcement. People did things on this app because of how the VeVeVerse was supposed to play out. Coming out and just saying, trust me, bro, we're still working on it. Just give us some time. It's not going to be the timeline that you thought. Great. You acknowledge it's not going to be the timeline. We know that already. It's been 2 years and we know it's not the timeline anymore. Now, what is it though? What is the VeVeVerse? Is this still the VeVeVerse? We still don't know. Are all of these things still the VeVeVerse? What's the VeVeVerse going to be? It's because when it comes out, I'm sure it's going to be phase 1 there. We're going to have home space. We already have some accessories on VV. Do we still have the expectation for phases 2, 3, 4? Are those items still part of the VeVeVerse? Are we going to still see these things? These are the questions the community wants answers to. They don't want to know, is the VeVeVerse still coming? We know that you guys are going to say, trust me, bro, it's coming. We know because there's nothing else you can say. If you say, no, it's not coming, you got bigger problems. So you have to deliver some kind of a VeVeVerse at this point. What does that VeVeVerse look like now? Is it a home space? Is it going to have worlds? Are we going to see branded IP? Are there IP okay with branded worlds interacting with other branded worlds? Are those IP okay with that? These are questions that we have. These are questions the community has. Big things to talk about when it comes to community updates, AMAs, all that stuff. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But the big point here that was not answered and still is not answered and hasn't been answered since this came out in November 2022 is, what is the VeVeVerse? What is it? What's it going to be? What are we expecting here?
I can't help but to laugh because it's true. I mean, is this still going to be and that was my number one question. That's why when I gave my little rundown there, I want to know what happened in the past, but the past is behind us. But I really want to know what exactly this is going to be, because we had, what's his name? The whale that came on,
Vicente, yeah.
Vicente came on and he straight up said, I think that he doesn't think it's going to be what people think it's going to be. He doesn't think it's going to achieve the expectation. So I would love to know what the plans are there. Now, speaking of roadmaps, Joe, I'm going to move on here to the next one.
Yep.
There was a discussion about roadmaps, which gets us super excited because we've been saying for so long, roadmap. I went on the AMA. By the way, guys, AMAs are great. Foster was on the AMA. I had a chance to go up there, ask a bunch of questions. Not as many as I had on my list, but I had at least I got a few of them answered. One of them was roadmap. And I think it's good for everybody to have the members of the team on an AMA to be asked these questions. And he basically said, okay, well, the roadmap will come when you see it, which, we don't really like. But he's saying something a little bit different here. So let's listen in.
Do a number of other things which we will talk about. So I think what we need to do is we need to focus on, first of all, this is about collectibles. So let's be really clear. This is a platform where you collect and you buy collectibles that you're into. What you then do with those, that's what we're focusing on growing. First step with the VeVeVerse. Long-term plans, yes, we've got other plans, but I think one of the challenges and opportunities with Web3 is it moves so quickly, and so functionality emerges that we hadn't even thought of, and so our roadmap, we've got a short-term roadmap, and that's what we're focusing on right now. There is also a longer-term roadmap, but that's a little bit more fluid because the technology changes quite significantly, and also what consumers want changes quite significantly. So, yeah, look, right now, you'll have seen the announcement about the integration with the team over at Stacker. That's exciting.
All right, Joel, why don't you start off on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing the word roadmap. It gets me happy. I mean, I'm excited that you have touched on that key word, Ben. I think very important that you guys mentioned that you have a roadmap. I mean, we were speculating there is no roadmap, and it was just you buy what you like, and that's it, because that's what we've been told for the last year and a half here. You kind of hint at it here as well, that this is you spend money, buy collectible at first. Everybody knows that at this point. In the early days, they didn't know that. So I don't know how familiar you are with the early days. Obviously, you've probably been briefed, and I don't know if you were around for collecting or whatever. Would love to know that story when you first heard of Veve and all that. You maybe talked about it in one of these AMAs. Haven't seen every single communication from you, but I think if the roadmap exists, does it hurt to share some of the key things that you are still going to work on? This still goes back to what I said about VeVeVerse. We don't know what VeVeVerse is, but we also don't know what the Veve app is going to be. We know that it's a buy collectibles, collect what you like. Are there any other action items in your roadmap besides VeVeVerse? Are there other things that you want to do with this app besides VeVeVerse that you could share to get some excitement going with the community? I mean, those things don't hurt to share long-term plans, but also, what are you not doing anymore that is shown here, that Rob is showing? He has the white paper pulled up. I think it's very important that you clarify things that you are not able to do for maybe regulatory reasons or whatever. But I think that the community deserves that. People have been here for 3 years waiting to see what you guys come out with. If there are things on this roadmap that are no longer possible, I think that has to be labeled and clear, or just put out a new one that says this is everything in here. We're working on everything else we cannot do anymore because of whatever reason, A, B, and C. Even if you don't say the reasons at this point, what are we doing? Where are we going? I think right now the only thing on the roadmap is drops and VeVeVerse, because you have to do some kind of VeVeVerse to keep any kind of trust that you still have.
I don't think they can lose sight of the original white paper. We did suggest in another video, like almost redlining this and just being like, okay, this isn't happening, or this is happening. And I agree with what you said. So when you give the new roadmap, it'd be great. Of course, we want to know what the true new roadmap is going to be, because I remember Meta Mona asked David Yu in an interview with the founder's CEO. They had Will there, and she straight up asked him, like, what is Veve? Like, what is it? Is it just a marketplace? And the question really was just like, yeah, we just sell premium digital collectibles. But I think the thing that is difficult to maneuver for Ben is that if you go back to the beginnings of this project, you did have a crypto base heavily involved, and a lot of them were buying this because they thought that they would be able to have some kind of growth opportunities by purchasing these collectibles. If some people argued because of their historic nature, that maybe they'd be well sought after, that they'd be able to flip them. Some people said that, well, you know, when the masses come, there's gonna be more demand for them. So there was a lot of that kind of mindset when people first came in here. I know when I first started in early 2022, I was very interested in this white paper. I use this white paper quite a bit. We did some videos on this white paper, breaking down certain things that we thought that the VeVe app would be capable of. So I would be interested in knowing in this revised roadmap that if he can release it. And I think, you know, I see what he's saying. He's saying there's short-term and long-term, because he's saying that as time goes on, maybe people's appetite for certain things may change. Like, for example, with Facebook and Meta, maybe they pivoted and said, okay, instead of the metaverse, we're going to be going AI, right? So technology may change. They may change directions. But I think that transparency is ultimately going to protect any roadmap. I think that if you build a roadmap, even if people make decisions off that roadmap at some point, I think that if you changing direction, you're probably changing direction because of a better reason. So transparency should, if you do something transparently that makes sense, then even if you change direction to something different and it makes sense, those who were in the system, the majority of people would probably adopt that change as a positive change. So I thought I wouldn't be scared personally to give out these roadmaps. I know they pulled away from that. You know, even with the whole OUP thing, there was like this whole thing where like, oh, you're only going to release bits as they come, right? But I think that, Ben, there's an opportunity here for you. If you just give this roadmap, go back to the white paper, remind everybody, okay, this doesn't apply anymore. This is what we're going to do. And I think that will create a lot of clarity. Now, there is one more thing that we have to talk about, which is the overall communication here. Sorry, I think it's right here. Yep, 1342. Let's listen in.
The other piece is, communicating out with the community and do things like we're doing here. I said in the launch video that, we absolutely hear that the community wants to hear more from us, and it should. It deserves to, because without the community, we don't exist. So that is also going to be a lot of my role. So my focus will be, communicating what's happening at the company, telling the community what's coming up, listening to feedback, and that's in forums like this where we're talking and saying here's all the stuff that's happening, but also behind closed doors having meetings and taking feedback the other way as well.
All right, when I hear this, that makes me happy, because I really, really believe that you can kill so much FUD if you just communicate and you're just open and transparent about what's going on. But then I became concerned, and I don't know, Joe, if you want to pull it up, because that was exactly what I want to hear. But then we found this comment. Why don't you read that out since it's on your screen?
So Kid Arcade, great friend of the channel, had a stream today. He went 3 hours. Shout out to Kid Arcade going 3 hours. I don't know how you go that long. I mean, but anyway, he talked about this exact interview, and he tagged Ben. I don't think he was necessarily asking Ben to go on the channel here, but he was just like mentioning it. Maybe the way he worded it was kind of confusing. But Ben responds, "Hey kid, good chat. Love to jump on today, but we're working hard on NYCC." So I'm not sure if he was offering to eventually jump on by saying this, and on making sure we're in great shape for more stuff after that. Keep up the awesome work. It does appear, though, that now is not a good time for this. And I think that may be a little bit of an issue. And maybe there is always going to be a good time to talk. Like, despite what's happening, I think community updates should trump everything.
Yeah, and the reason why I brought this up is just because I understand they're always going to be busy. And I just don't want this to be kind of like a common theme. But I want to bring up some examples, because we've been saying for a long time, we've had a number of CEOs come on our channel, but we've never been able to secure a VeVe one. And we have, shout out to Reese. Reese is a solid guy. He came on, he did the video, he did the AMA with us. He literally took all the questions and he didn't ask for any of them in advance. So we literally threw like over 30 questions at him that we accumulated from the community over a span of like 3 days, and we just fired. Some would call it the best AMA of all time. We learned a lot about the speculation. This AMA killed speculation. And by the way, he also told people, I think it was actually the next AMA, but we did have an AMA, and he told people, don't leave your money in Bitforex.
Yeah.
Well, he point blank said that, don't leave your money in Bitforex. We only got that because we did AMAs with him. He also said, by the way, what you're buying, you know, these Marvel Mighties that everyone says are going to be gamified, just assume what you're buying is the best you're going to get. All right. He came straight up and he killed the speculation. And that's why AMAs are so important. But here's a reminder. We had Will come on. We had the Cryptoid CEO come on. We had FlickPlay CEO come on. Like, these are direct, common players in this space to Vivi. We had Quid. Another one. Quid came on. We had Gamesodes come on. And even more, we had the entire founding father team of Cryptoids come on. They actually coordinated a time and came on. So I think people are okay. Okay, you got priorities, but they're not going to be okay for months on end. But they will be, I think, willing to wait. And again, like, you know, we have a lot of experience doing these things. So if you're interested in doing an AMA, we know how to run them. But regardless if it's us or Kid Arcade or anybody else, I think what matters is that if Ben shows his face and he answers questions regularly, and, you know, he has the confidence to say what is going to happen, what's not going to happen, roadmap, and just be involved and become integrated as part of the community, I think all this FUD that we see in the community will slowly minimize. I don't think it will be extinguished until things are fully delivered, but I think you could really minimize it. It's just that he's coming in with kind of the street. You already had 3 strikes, right? Like, he's coming in when VeVeVerse is already at 2 years beyond announcement. Like, that's not going to work, right? Like, if you said, you know, first Q1 is going to be this in 2023, and now we're going to 2025, people are not going to have that same level of understanding as they would if he came in maybe in 2023. So I think what matters is that he just is careful. He has to own it. If he says something's going to come, he has to own it. He said VeVeVerse is going to come in a short period of time. He has to own that now, because now people are going to think, well, I'm giving you like 3 months. One guy might be like, I'm giving you 4 months. One guy might be like, that's 1 week. So he's going to have to own that. But I think if he answers questions and he tries his best, I don't think overall the majority of people will hold it against Vivi the same way as just not responding at all. And then same thing like how My Collectibles put out a post. He's like, give me all the questions you have. We're gonna have an AMA. The AMA never happened, and then they came on after and said, actually, we're never gonna probably do an AMA, right? So when you do things like this, you start getting the community kind of riled up. But overall, though, I am happy to see Ben came in and is giving communication. He's starting the communication train. I'm very happy to see that. I want to see more of that. He's using words like roadmap. He's using words like utility. What can we do with these collectibles? The masses, in our opinion, if you just, and by the way, there's some VV people who completely disagree with us, but, you know, the masses, I don't think want to just buy a collectible. I think the masses want to do something with their collectible. So buy the collectible, do something with the collectible. He's talking about utility. He's saying things we want to hear. We just need a better understanding of exactly how they're going to do that. So I'm very, very excited for this. I don't know if it's that in.
Yeah, I just want to say again, going back and kind of full circle to the beginning of the video, Ben is a new face. He's a new person with new expectations for the community. I mean, I've seen a lot of positivity about having Ben around. And I do think it is a net positive. It could be a positive, depending on how things play out. If we're going to answer questions, trust me, bro, let us do it. Let us figure it out. I don't think we're going to get anywhere when it comes to community sentiment. Deliveries will help in terms of some community sentiment, but in terms of the disconnect when it comes to the actual fam that we mentioned in his video and the actual team, that disconnect's going to remain as long as we do not have direct communication from whoever's asking the questions. And the other thing that is very common with those AMAs, including the one with Reese, and you mentioned it, there was no filter on the questions. Did not have to get asked by somebody on the VV team. Did not have to be sent in advance to see what we're going to ask. Did not have to see. That didn't happen. Why? Because there was trust with the community. People in the community trusted the team. They trust the teams. They understand that they're going to answer the questions to the best of their ability. And there shouldn't be a question you can't answer. As a CEO, I'm sure you know that. And it does appear that Ben is very well-versed and able to answer questions. He was answering questions from My Collectibles. And now I don't know how much prep he had for it, whatever, but he was answering questions on things that he was not a part of. He was not here for it. He was not part of the team for that, and he was answering those questions. So I'm sure he has enough knowledge to answer certain things that people expect at this point. I think if given the right AMA and the right questions from the community that aren't asking them things that he won't be able to answer, I think that a community AMA from a community channel could be an amazing thing for you. And I think the reason why they don't exist is not because of the community. I don't think it's the community's fault. And I think it appears, though, that Veve will not have a community AMA because of the community. But the truth is, Veve will not have a community AMA because of Veve. Veve answered the questions in a way that made the community upset. Veve didn't answer the questions in a way that made the community upset. Ben, as co-CEO, you have an opportunity here to change all of that. You can change the culture. You can jump on a community AMA, take any questions they throw at you. Foster's starting to do it with the ecomi, and I think it's great. I think that they got to do more of it, show that they're consistent. But from the Veve side, Ben, you can change the culture. Jump on an AMA anytime, any place. New York Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con and happening, doesn't matter. Show us that Veve is serious about their connection with the community. Answer any questions that the community has. Do not shy away. Do not be scared, and own up to the mistakes. You owned up to them here, but you really haven't given us clarity on why or what to expect in terms of context. We don't need timelines. I think that we're starting to get somewhere. I think that we could start to really, really get somewhere if we keep going with this direction. Thank you for putting out a first community AMA of 2024, and hopefully we see you again soon. Maybe on the channel, maybe on Kid Arcade's channel, maybe on another channel, but hopefully not exclusive to Veve, where people can speculate that all the questions are known in advance. Lots of prep work went into the answers. You guys are worried about what the community is going to say. If you got a product and you got a roadmap and you have plans for something real, you're not worried about your answers on these AMAs.
So does Ben have the guts to come on a community AMA? This is the question we want you guys to answer in the comments below. Also, about anything else that we discussed in this video, let us know in the comments below. If you haven't already, don't forget, become a superstar, smash the subscribe button, join the superstar family, hit the bell notification to get every single video, every single day. Also, superstar VIPs, tune in a month, start beside your name, master spreadsheet giveaways, guys. I gotta change my. I think I said every day. I gotta get this, guys. I did this for 1,000 days. I said that.
We do post content on X every day, so
that's true. That's true. But for 1,000 days, I gotta get that muscle memory out. It's like I don't even have to think about it. Every every other 2 days, something along those lines. You guys know we're gonna be hitting at least a few videos every single week. So thank you guys so much for your support. Take care. See you next time. Bye bye.
Love you. Bye.